Hello, Andreas. Good afternoon. Where did
Hello,
you
Patricia.
Hello. Where did you study music?
Well, I mainly studied music in Berlin at the Musikhochschule in Berlin. But I have to say that my first cello teacher, he was himself a pupil of Emanuel Feuermann, which, for my opinion, was one of the real great cellists of the last century. And my first cello teacher, I actually learned to play the cello. He was a pupil of Emanuel Feuermann, so I feel a little bit in this row. But then I went to Berlin and I started with Wolfgang Böttcher, and that was also a very, very important time, you know, not only studying, but playing in all the great orchestras. I played a lot, I substituted a lot in the Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra. And so it was a fantastic time, actually, really.
Have
And
you
then, sorry?
No, sorry. Continue, please.
And then actually in 81, when I was nearly finishing my studies, I already went to Cologne to form the Auryn Quartet, so you see such a long time we are playing together and having fun or not.
The quartet Auryn, have you won any competition or prize? The quartet.
Yes. Actually, we started in 81 and we studied in that times the Amadeus Quartet. They were teaching at the Musikhochschule in Cologne. And actually, it was like from the first moment when we met each other, we felt something special and we thought, well, that's fantastic. So all of the four of us, we left everything behind. We played in different orchestras. Matthias was concertmaster in the European Youth Orchestra and stuff like this. So we had different things to do. But then we left everything. We all moved to Cologne and we started to practice. And that was in March 81. And then one of our teachers said, well, why don't you try to do a competition? And there was this big competition, which is now the London competition. And so we said, well, why shouldn't we try it? We will never make a prize because it was just 1 year for learning repertoires. But then we went there and luckily we won a prize. And half a year later, we won a prize at the ARD competition in Munich. And that actually was very helpful for the beginning of our career because we found an agent and then we very quickly had a lot of concerts to play. But I think now, when I'm looking back, I think we were terribly lucky.
Speaking about repertoire, are you specialized in any repertoire?
Well, the first 10 years of our quartet career, we played a lot of, also, beside the classical repertoire, which we anyway did, we played a lot of contemporary repertoire. I think we made, in that time we made like something like 200 first performances, which is amazing now. But then we came a little bit in the direction of being specialized in contemporary music, and we wanted to play our classic repertoire. So then, for nearly 5 or 6 years, we didn't play any contemporary music anymore, and played the whole classical repertoire. We recorded all the Haydn quartets. We recorded all Schumann, all Beethoven, all Schubert, so all Brahms. We play all these repertoire, and nowadays we mix it a little bit. So we normally, I would say we are a little bit specialized in the classical repertoire from Haydn till Brahms. But we also play contemporary music, and we at least make one first performance of contemporary music, which is also very important, and it's also it's very interesting. But mainly nowadays, being an older quartet now, we play the classical repertoire.
Is there any concert that you remember especially in your life, the most significant? Something that really
That's a very good question. Well, I actually remember one concert, which when I was a student and played with the Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra, and there was Leonard Bernstein coming and conducting Ninth Symphony of Mahler, and I remember that concert very, very well. I mean, I was so moved myself. It was amazing. And then, when we all played in the European Community Youth Orchestra, in that times, Claudio Abbado was a conductor. And we played there for different years and made a lot of tours with him. And that also was amazing, And not only that he was a fantastic conductor, but also a real strong personality, and he helped our quartet also, I mean, so yeah, the concerts with him I also remember very well. I mean, it's funny, because normally when you play, you have to concentrate and you shouldn't be too flipping out about the music. And the public should be moved, and yourself, you should be concentrating on the music. But playing with those great personalities, I remember it very well. I mean, it gives you such an input for your own musical life and for your own career, and yeah.
As you know, the festival of this year is based on Mozart. In your opinion, why is Mozart one of the great composers of the history?
Well, for me, Mozart is very special because he was a revolutionary in his music writing. I mean, nowadays we don't realize it anymore, but I think in his times, people sometimes were thrilled by the new things he did. He really did new things, but on the other hand, his music is so heavenly. Maybe it's not the right word. My oldest daughter, she plays the violin, and recently we talked about Mozart, and she said, well, even if I listen to Mozart and even if his music is sad and stuff like this, but then when I'm going home after the concert, I feel very happy. And maybe that's something special about Mozart, that even if the music is sad and even if you feel a little bit sad while listening to it, it's difficult to say, but it brings you some hope for humanity and things like this. I mean, it's a little bit philosophical, but well, I feel the same a little bit about Mozart. I mean, it's just so the melodies are so nice but deep. It's not only nice. It's much more than only nice music.
And speaking about chamber music, repertoire, what significant aspects would stand out of Mozart's chamber music, the music you play by Mozart?
The quartets actually. In the quartets, I very often have the feeling that he was trying out things. I mean, especially in the 6 Haydn quartets, you can feel very strong that he listened to the quartets by Haydn, and he was influenced very much by Haydn for this quartet, and he was trying out new things, which, Haydn actually, as an inventor of these string quartet, what we know as a string quartet nowadays, and Mozart, with his genius, he tried out things in these string quartets especially, and actually in the quintet then, in the string quintets, he even, for my opinion, he was even more a master of this form. In the string quartets, he tried out things, but then in the quintets, it's really perfect what he did. And compared with Haydn and Beethoven, for my opinion, but that's my personal opinion, he's a master of melody. He's even if he's constructing things, still the flow of the melody all the time is really great. And I think that's very special about Mozart anyway, and also about his string quartets.
3 words to describe Mozart, 3 adjectives or words.
3 words. Okay, 3 words to describe Mozart. Happy, heavenly, and melodious. Can you say this in English?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Could you speak about the compositions you are going to play in Bogota?
Okay. I'm actually, now you have to help me because I'm not very sure. I think we play 4-5-8, the A major, and then we play the B major.
I help you. Don't worry.
Can you see what we are going to play?
If you wait a second, yeah. It's a minute.
I have it also in my calendar. I can look it up. Just a second. So where we are, it's March. So here, so it's 4-6-4, one of the Haydn, 4-2, okay, 4-8, 4-3-7, 4-2-8, and okay.
You got them.
So you know, actually, we mainly play out of the 6 Haydn quartets. I think we play 3. And then we also play out of the 3 last quartets, we play 1, the B major.
Yeah, I have got here. You play the number 22, number 14, number 19.
Yeah.
And then you play with Paul Meyer, no? The clarinet quintet.
And we play the oboe quartet.
And you play the number 15 as well, and
you know, I only have the Köchelverzeichnis numbers. You know, you see, so that's what I see in my program that we play the oboe quartet and the clarinet quintet, and we play string quintet. The 5-1-5 is a string quintet, and then we play I think 3 of the Haydn quartets, the so-called Haydn quartets, and then the one of the last 3, that's 5-8-9, which is the B major. And I can tell you a little bit about those pieces. Okay. So as I said before, the Haydn quartets, the 6 Haydn quartets are that's a very interesting cycle of quartets, because Haydn knew the quartets Mozart wrote, and Mozart knew the quartets who Haydn wrote, and so they both influenced each other a little bit. And Haydn and Mozart was deeply impressed of these of the quartets by Haydn, and he actually, I think he was much younger than Haydn, and he really it was like a pupil saying to a master, "Well, I'm also writing quartets, and what do you think about it?" But the 6 quartets are so masterful that nowadays, not knowing anymore that how the relationships were, you think, well, it's 2 great masters who wrote a cycle of quartets, and it's. But if you know the Haydn quartets, if you know the Mozart quartets, there are so many things. So many, when you see small themes or structural things, also when you can see, oh, well, there he might listen to this quartet, or maybe it's this quartet, which is, so there's a huge relationship in between those quartets, those 2 composers. And then in the last three quartets, they are especially written for Friedrich, the Prussian king, and he was a cellist himself. And so Mozart wanted to challenge him. And so the three last quartets, the cello part is much more important than in the other quartets. It's actually a little bit soloistic. It's nearly as important as the first fiddle. And it's very, very difficult for the cello to play, I have to say, because I'm the cellist. But they're very, very beautiful, especially this B major quartet, which we are playing. It's a very, very beautiful, and interestingly, it's not so opera-like and not so dramatic as the quartets before. It's much more in a relaxed way and like somebody watching a little bit from far away, listening to his beautiful music. So it's a bit different than the quartets before, a different approach, for my opinion. And then we have the oboe quartet, which is a little bit earlier piece. And it's really in the tradition of virtuoso and these chord music. It's a very nice piece. For the oboe, it's one of the most important pieces. These three string players are more helping the oboe to be a virtuoso. I like it very much, the piece, especially the slow movement is so nice, such a nice piece. And then we play one of the, for my opinion, greatest pieces of music ever. That's the clarinet quintet. I mean, everybody who knows classical music knows the clarinet quintet. And especially the slow movement of the clarinet quintet, I think it's one of the really most moving movements ever written for ensemble. And as I said before, also the string quintets, they are real, for my opinion, the real masterpieces of Mozart writing for strings. Maybe even more than the string quartets. So that's all I have to say for now.
Great. And please, could you finish this interview with some words in Spanish?
Okay. Just a second. I have to go to my paper.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, now should I start with the greetings?
Yeah.
Okay. Hola. Wie war das nochmal? OS? Nee, wie war, how was the beginning when I say my name?
Soy.
Soy.
Yeah.
Okay. I start again. Hola, soy Andreas Arndt, el violonchelista del cuarteto Auryn, y estaremos en el segundo Festival Internacional de Música de Bogotá. Bogotá es Mozart. Les esperamos en esta gran fiesta musical y recuerden que en Bogotá todos somos Mozart.
Very good.